I would say that a large proportion of the trees that we deal with, especially when we're dealing with removals due to decay, are quite simply due to bad pruning. And very few people set out to deliberately damage the trees, but it's quite easy to get wrong. And although it's quite easy to get right as well, if you don't actually understand the basics of what you're doing, you will end up allowing infection into the tree. And really, once infection gets into the tree, a bacterial canker, a fungal infection, then there's very little you can actually do to resolve the problem. This is a European ash tree which we removed for a customer due to some quite extensive decay. You can see the spike marks where we climbed it. I've brought some of the sections home just to demonstrate some of the do's and don'ts of tree pruning. We're going to look for two features. First is the branch collar, which you can see I'm pointing out here. Secondly is the bark ridge. You can see I'm pointing it out here. These determine our tree pruning point. Again, branch collar and the bark ridge. It's an important zone for the tree because that's where the tree's natural healing zone exists. Now, this tree had been pruned previously. You can see here that the pruning basically too far away from the branch collar. The tree is never going to heal that. It's just not been given a chance to actually try and occlude that wound properly, and as a result it's less infection into the tree. Again, here some pretty bad previous pruning. You can see some decay on the left. You can also see that the tree has tried to occlude the wound, but in the end has given up and has just thrown out some epicormic growth. This tree was actually really struggling. Bit of a shame, really. European ash trees are getting quite rare because of Calorifraxis ash dieback. This epicormic growth that you see here, it's not very stable and it is prone to breaking off in high winds. We can see another pretty bad pruning wound down there. The tree's tried to occlude it, it's tried to grow around the wound, it's just not been able to do it, and the wood that's been left has just decayed and allowed, in this case it's a fungal infection, into the tree. We always make our pruning cut at the branch collar. We don't make it anywhere else. You can see here where, I don't know if these have actually been broken off or maybe they've been pruned off at the nursery when the tree was very young. And you can see the tree's actually managed to occlude these. Another one at the top. I think the customer did this. If the branch collar has disappeared, which can happen when the tree starts to get bigger, then we can use the bark ridge to help us estimate where the branch collar actually should be. Now, when the branch collar disappears, and you can see that it's starting to disappear here, although it's not as clear on the video as it is in real life. And what we then do is we cut at the opposite angle to the bark ridge. Now what I'm doing here is cutting off one of these previously badly pruned branches that has some external decay evident. And really it's just to show you that if you can see decay on the outside, it will be on the inside as well. Just turn this round, there you go, you can see it, and the tree is never going to recover from that, and that all came about from bad pruning. When we're actually pruning a tree, you don't go straight in and cut at the branch collar, because what can happen is the tree will actually peel downwards, and it can strip the bark right the way down, and it can peel right the way down the main stem of the tree, and it exposes the tree to infection, so we don't want that. Instead, what we do is we'll do what they call a step cut. We'll put one cut in on the underside. That relieves some of the compression energy and it will stop the bark peeling down, and then we put another cut in on the top side, and this relieves the tension energy. These two cuts overlap a little bit. The bottom cut needs to come in about, well, no more than 1/3 of the branch. And when we do the top cut, you can see I'm trying very badly drawing a diagram here. This will still hold the branch in place, and you can then snap it off by hand. Clearly you don't do this with a large branch. Well, we do, but we set up rigging and pulley systems to take the weight of the branch. Once you've actually got the main weight of the branch off, then you can just cut straight through the branch at the branch collar without any fear that the whole thing is going to snap off and peel down the main stem. Now I'm going to demonstrate this for you here. Just to stress the point, I'm actually cutting in a little bit farther than 1/3 from underneath. I'm now cutting in from the top. I am overlapping the saw. Now what I'm demonstrating here, this is important. If you make your bottom cut inboard of the top cut, in other words, if it is closer to the trunk than the top cut, you run the risk of having the saw taken away from you as the branch actually comes off, and it can get trapped in the gap. See that there? It's important to remember that when you make your bottom cut and then you make your top cut, that the top cut is actually inboard, i.e. closer to the tree than the bottom cut. That way you won't get the saw trapped, and it will not be taken away from you with the branch when the branch decides to let go. I'm going to demonstrate the correct way of doing your top and bottom cuts now. Assume that the tree again is on the left hand side, and the branch, the part of the branch we want to remove so we can get a lot of the weight out of the branch, is to the right. Once we've got the weight out of the branch, then we can go back and we can make our cut at the branch collar. Now I'm really emphasising these cuts. The top cut in particular wouldn't come down this far, the overlap wouldn't be as great, but you can see here that the bottom cut is outboard and the top cut is inboard. When you snap that off, there is no way that's going to take the saw away from you. Bit of a safety tip there, bit of a basic safety tip for you. Okay, well thanks for watching. Enjoy your pruning. I'm sorry about my very bunged up voice today, but as I say, that's hay fever. Remember, try not to kill your trees. Simplest thing you can do to look after your trees is just good quality pruning, and the trees will outlast you. Hope you enjoyed watching. Thanks a lot. Bye.